So next up, we have a topic that you're going to hear a lot more about over the next several months. We have Rachel Glickhouse here to talk about Democracy Day, which is, she's going to tell you a lot more about it, but it's a collaborative that I'm also part of helping to organize, that we're aiming to launch for the first time this fall. So Joe and Rachel, as you can see there, we're getting the slides up. And you can read more about this at collaborativejournalism.org/democracy day. I'll drop that in the chat just a moment too. And Rachel?
I'm the Director of Learning and Labs at the News Revenue Hub, and I have run or participated in a number of national collaborations since 2016. And today I'm going to talk to you about a new collaboration that's in the works now. Oh, click. There we go.
There we go. Now you can use there.
Okay. So we're going to do a little experiment. I would like you to close your eyes briefly for a moment, whether you're watching on Zoom, whether you're watching in the auditorium. And I want you to imagine that you're sitting in the newsroom where you work, or you're sitting in a newsroom where you have worked before. And I want you to imagine that the editor-in-chief has called everyone to physically come in. And she comes out onto the floor and announces that everyone is going to be laid off today, and that the news organization is shutting down. And the reason it's shutting down is not because of money. It's shutting down because the federal government is closing your news organization by federal decree. So as the staff is in shock and gathering their things to leave, the police arrive and they arrest the politics reporter who sits next to you. So you can open your eyes again. So this type of scenario happens in countries around the world. This more specific type of scenario happened in Turkey in 2016, when 140 media outlets were shut down by emergency decree, and where nearly 150 journalists and media workers were jailed, as you can see in this photo. So I know what you're thinking. That would never happen here. Things are bad, but that's not something that would happen in the United States. And sure, business reasons are always a motive for newsrooms getting shut down, but not the government. Well, I am here today to tell you that we are on a really dangerous trajectory where that kind of scenario could become a reality. And experts are the ones that are telling us, because we're journalists, we like to refer to the experts, are telling us that our democratic institutions are eroding. And this is happening across the board. So I just want to give you a couple examples to put this into perspective for you. Rick Hasson is one of the leading experts on US elections and constitutional law, and he has talked and written a lot about this. And recently he wrote, "The democratic emergency is already here. We face a serious risk that American democracy as we know it will come to an end in 2024, but urgent action is not happening." And he also said in a recent TV interview that he is, quote unquote, scared shitless about 2024. Pardon my language. In a recent analysis about the upcoming Roe v. Wade decision in the New York Times, they looked at which countries have rolled back abortion rights since 2000 and found that there were only 3: Nicaragua, Poland, and the United States. And in this analysis, they said curbs on women's rights tend to accelerate in backsliding democracies, a category that includes the United States according to virtually every independent metric and watchdog. This is not only happening at the national level, but also on the local level where we're seeing democratic erosion. And these 3 stories, I am very sorry to say, were all published this past Tuesday. So that is how easy it was for me to do a little roundup of democratic collapse on the local level. Is all 3 of these stories were from Tuesday. So with this in mind, as an industry, we think that we don't want to wait before it's too late. We don't want to be reactive, we want to be proactive as we are seeing these trends happening. So back in January, I tweeted this idea of what if we put together some kind of democracy day? And Stephanie Murray for the Center for Cooperative Media immediately responded, of course. Jen Brandel from Harkin responded, and Bridget Thorson from INN all chimed in and said, yeah, this is a good idea. Why don't we try to do it? So we started meeting and came up with this idea to hold Democracy Day. And the idea we came up with is to coordinate with newsrooms around the United States on September 15th of this year, which is the International Day of Democracy, to sound a collective alarm about what's going on. And the idea is that all of the participating newsrooms will publish some kind of democracy-related work that day. So it might be investigative, it might be a reported story, it might be an editorial, but the idea is everybody comes together on the same day to publish this kind of work. We're hoping to do a couple of different things through this project. We want to inform and empower the public because we think not enough people understand the scope of what's happening, and there's so much happening, especially on the local level, that we'd like to surface. We think a collective approach means greater reach and impact. We also want to make sure, especially since we are in an election year, that newsrooms aren't getting too focused on the regular type of politics and election coverage that they usually do, that we are not in usual times, and that they should also be putting some coverage towards these democratic issues. And then also we would love to do a test run this year to prepare for 2024. So the four of us came together, started meeting, started talking about this, and we published a post about this on the Center for Cooperative Media site with a sign-up form. And so far, almost 100 people have signed up either to participate, to follow, to help organize since then. And we met with a group of the people who signed up to be organizers and started hashing out some of the details about what participation really looks like for newsrooms, what we want to be able to provide them. And we're also in the process of trying to get funding since everybody currently working on the project is just doing this in their spare time as volunteers. So we're still in that fundraising process right now. We started the recruitment process already, and we will continue to do that through September. We are also working on finalizing the guidance we're going to send to participating newsrooms, which we'll send out soon. And then as soon as a new organization joins, they will receive that guidance, basically just telling them what it means to participate and making sure they know that September 15th is the day we're all going to publish, and a couple other details. So there are a couple of things we think we need to be successful. The first one is we just need critical mass. So we would love to see as many newsrooms sign up as possible, also across the spectrum of the types of media that are out there, from including digital and print, but also TV, radio, ethnic media. We think that local TV and ethnic media would be really critical for us to cast as wide a net as possible. Again, funding would be really great because we're all just using our spare time for this. So we have limited bandwidth. And finally, it would be really great to get a couple of big national newsrooms to participate, because from my own experience, I can tell you that that really helps get buy-in from lots of other newsrooms to sign up when they sort of like follow the leader. But it also helps reach a much wider audience when you can tap into those kind of partners. So for those of you watching today, there are a couple of ways you can join us. You can sign up as a newsroom to participate. You can become an organizer to join our team that's helping with the organizing process, or you can help us fundraise. So you can get to that sign up form at bit.ly/demday. And we will get back to you about how you can help. So thank you so much.